evening and welcome to Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. Cstv News at 24 is brought to you by Celeste Whitson Brown, Rema Ocean Agency, Amsel Block Machinery and Block Manufacturing, Sarah's Dream Jewelries, Yav Decorations, Nap Apartment Hotel, and Cresta Jorek Pet Shop. Now let's look at some headlines that will be coming your way in our news bulletin for today. Health Minister announces 120% NHIS tariff hike for service providers from 2026. Also coming your way, religious intolerance in our schools could threaten our country's social cohesion, says Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Moving on to business news, government committed to building self-sustaining industry sector, and on the foreign front also, more than 1,200 confirmed dead in Asia floods. There's a many more stories will come in your way on our news bulletin for tonight. Stay tuned. You are live on Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. For more news updates, you can follow us on all social media handles at CSTVGH. Now let's move on to our story for tonight. Let's start from the education sector. The public relations officer for the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenn, has stated that the results of the examination reflect the learning abilities of the students. According to him, it is worrying because students who have been trained for 3 years would provide such results.
Indeed, we perfectly agree, and not that we just agree, we work closely with WAEC. You know, the examinations are conducted with largely our students, and then the invigilators, the supervisors, largely our staff. And so we work closely with them, monitor, we supervise, we collaborate with them closely to conduct these examinations. And so it is not that we agree, that is actually the case, that the results you see are a true reflection of the competencies of our learners. Even though it is worrying, I mean, it is concerning. You wouldn't train your learners for 3 good years, take them through all the lessons, teach them, expose them to all the necessary books and content they have to be exposed to, only for them to churn out these results. I mean, for any genuine education system, any genuine person interested in the progress of our learners, this result is quite worrying.
President of NAT, Reverend Isaac Owusu, says he is not going to apportion any blame to anybody concerning how most senior high school students failed in the WASSCE examination. According to him, even though they are disappointed, this is not time to apportion blame, but rather what measures are being put in place to avoid what happened from repeating itself.
Well, I wouldn't want to apportion blame, whether who did what and who did not do what. Now, the issue here is that our children didn't do well in some of the core subjects. As key stakeholders, especially the Ghana Education Service and the government, together with the teachers and parents, what measures are we all going to put in place going forward to make sure that such failure does not occur again?
Now let's shift to the health sector. Health Minister Kwabena Mensah Akando has announced that the government will implement an average 120% increase in tariffs paid to service providers under the National Health Insurance Scheme starting in 2026. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series He explained that the decision follows years of complaints from health facilities that the current tariffs do not reflect the true cost of care.
Gone were the days where you hear service providers shouting on top of their voices on the rooftop that they were going to withdraw services because they were not receiving payment. And this is no more the case as I speak to you now. In some cases, my CEO will have to call even some of the service providers to bring their claims for payment. That is the current status of the National Health Insurance Authority. And so it is not by coincidence that there is a lot of confidence in the National Health Insurance Scheme. The coverage was around 18 million people as at the time we took office, and I can confidently report that in a matter of less than 1 year, we are around 20 million people, which represent about 60% coverage. And beginning next year, we are going to increase the tariffs in the National Health Insurance to the service providers.
The Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Kwachi Ofusu, has confirmed that petitions seeking the removal of the Electoral Commission chairperson, her 2 deputies, and the special prosecutor have been officially received and forwarded to the Chief Justice for action. Speaking in an interview, he stated that all required procedures at the presidential level have been completed.
Well, I can confirm to you the President has indeed received the referenced petition in respect of the Electoral Commissioner and her deputies, and then the special prosecutor. Well, this happened sometime last week. Well, every process that needed to be on it has been undertaken. The process for doing so is quite clear. So I heard your resource person in the studio take you through the process, and that is precisely what the President has followed. That is what I can say for now. Again, at this stage, the process has left the hands of the President. Beyond conveying the petition to the Chief Justice for the processes to continue, little else that the President does in this particular instance. So everything now rests with the Chief Justice, who I believe will act in accordance with Ghanaian law.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Kujetu Ablankwa, has cautioned that debate on religious practices in senior high school could undermine social cohesion in the country. Delivering a keynote address at the 87th Speech and Prize Giving Day of the Presbyterian Boys' School, the minister stated that debate over religious practices in schools should not overshadow broader concerns about ethical leadership and national development.
Problem. To me, the essential point should not be about whether our schools are religious schools or public schools funded by taxpayers. The issue should be about the common humanity and love for one another. It is Jonathan Swift who famously said, quote, "We have just enough religion to make us hate, but not enough to make us love," unquote. Ghana has hitherto been celebrated globally for our religious tolerance. Let's not lose it. We must remember the iconic example of our revered National Chief Imam, His Eminence Osman Nuhu Sharabutu, who celebrated his 100th birthday by attending a service at the Christ the King Catholic Church in Accra. His other profound examples of visiting Christian homes, such as my home, which he has visited on 3 memorable occasions, is worth highlighting. As this debate rages on in Ghana, Pope Leo XIV is sending us a message on religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence from his first trip abroad to Muslim-majority Turkey and Lebanon. The poet Khalil Gibran captured it succinctly when he wrote, "I love you when you bow in your mosque, kneel in your temple, pray in your church. For you and I are sons of one religion, and it is the spirit, unquote. But that dear chairman.
The minister also added that instead of focusing on how strict religious doctrines are enforced in our schools, it is time to ponder over real issues in our country.
The spirit, unquote. But that dear chairman, perhaps instead of focusing on how strict religious doctrines are being enforced in our schools and the weird correlation between short hair and disciplined students, it is time to ponder over the real issues. Why is our educational system producing graduates who criminally create thousands of ghosts to fleece the state when real human beings are looking for jobs? Why is our educational system producing graduates who will destroy our environment, pollute our river bodies, and create a public health crisis for the rest of us just to advance their greedy galamsey search for gold? Why is our educational system producing graduates who lack ethical leadership? Why is our educational system producing graduates who commit Ghana to unconscionable transactions? Why is our educational system producing plutocratic graduates who want so much for themselves and don't care about the country they lead and the generations coming after them? To me, with all due respect, these are the weightier matters. That is why I agree with Albert Einstein when he proclaimed that true religion is real living, living with all one's soul, with all one's goodness and righteousness, unquote.
We're going for a commercial break. More news updates will be coming your way. Stay tuned.
Company Limited. So we per blocks machines here air papa. None bonso assign edda from dia. Any na enwani Amsel Company Limited. Your conveyor blocks machines, hydraulic blocks machines, pallets, any blocks machines in one session in na. And nothing so blocks machines are who draw opening in air being so ewo. To show your child quite any year. There was Spinters Road 18 Junction. Yani KFC Dino and a dish anymore. Frey, it was 05,240 and I say 0540-725850. Amstel blocks machines in Papa Pa Efie.
Welcome back. You're still live on Cstv News at 24 on Cstv now. Let's move on to some business stories. Vice President Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman has reassured the goal of the government in building a strong, competitive, and self-sustaining industry sector. The Vice President noted that businesses that were celebrated deserve their highest commendations, adding that they reflected the innovations and resilience that must drive Ghana's next phase of growth. She then added that under the leadership of President John Dramani Mahama, the government aimed at unlocking the full potential of Ghana's industrialization agenda. The Deputy Director of Renewable Energy at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. Robert Sogbaji, has revealed that Ghana aims to commence construction of its first nuclear power plant by 2027. In an interview, he noted that preparatory work for the development of the facility is already underway, including the pursuit of a power purchase agreement.
We have 2 sites which have been identified where we want to put our nuclear power plants. One site will host the large power plants, and the other side will hold the small power plants in an industrial enclave. So steps are, in fact, ongoing to make sure that we acquire that land, and then maybe roughly by 2027 we should be able to catch salt for construction. Yes, one in the Western region and one in the Central region. I'm nominated as Energy Advocate of the Year, and I think it is right because I've preached, I would say, the gospel according to clean energy, both from solar, wind, nuclear, and all the other technologies, including carbon capture and green hydrogen.
Now moving on to the foreign front, more than 1,200 confirmed dead and 800 missing in a catastrophic Asia floods. Rescue and recovery efforts are underway in parts of Southeast Asia, where the number of those killed in the devastating floods continue to rise. The cyclone also brought heavy rain to India's southern states over the weekend, with authorities stressing that 3 people were killed in rain-related incidents. Prime Minister Sir Starmer has condemned Brexit template as utterly reckless in a speech at the Ladies' Mayor banquet in the City of London. The Prime Minister stated that the way the UK's departure from the EU had been sold and delivered was simply wrong. Sports updates will be coming your way after the commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back now to Sports Stories. Former Ghana Football Association Chairman Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo has urged Black Stars technical team led by Otu Addo to avoid calling up players who previously declined opportunities to represent the national team. Speaking in an interview, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo stressed that players who initially rejected invitations should be overlooked, while those who have never been called up deserve a chance to prove themselves. He stated that those who turn down should not be invited at all, but those who have never been must be given the opportunity to come and play. Former Arsenal defender Bakary Sagna has shared that the demise of his brother in 2008 took a toll on his football career. He explained that the unfortunate incident occurred shortly after he signed for Arsenal and it negatively impacted his performance. Speaking on the impact of the death of a Portuguese forward on Liverpool, the defender believed that the incident has contributed to the country's abysmal performances in the 2025-26 season. Thomas Frank hit back at those who bowed goalkeeper and claimed they were not true Tottenham fans after losing at home to Fulham, saying the fans have the right to say what they think. It's up to us to stay calm and focused on themselves.
It happens. I didn't like how the fans reacted on that. I think they booed at him straight after, and also 3 or 4 times when he was on the ball. I think for me that's unacceptable. It can't be true Tottenham fans. Booing after, fair, no problem. But when we need together. And if we need to turn it around, we need to do it together. So That's hugely important for me. Then we rushed first half. I think the team was a little bit self-shocked after the 2 conceded goals. Big ambition to do everything right and come out and turn around and get that home win. And then you're 2-0 down. That makes it just difficult. They're only human beings.
Entertainment story will come your way after the short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the commercial break. It's still live on Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. Now, let's move on to our entertainment front. Nigerian actress Anita Joseph has sparked concern on social media after sharing an emotional post that appeared to confirm reports that a 5-year marriage to Michael Fisayo may have ended. The news was first reported by SDK blog, which claimed that the union had collapsed and alleged that the actress faced significant personal struggles during the marriage. Sources close to the couple says Anita suffered 2 devastating pregnancy losses, a miscarriage, and a stillbirth during a time in the marriage. Ghanaian Kumawood actor Nana Yeboah has opened up about his preferred type of women. In an interview, he revealed that slim ladies are his ideal type when it comes to relationship. The Kumawood actor additionally recalled his early school days where he became well known for his talent in cultural dance. According to him, his interest in cultural dance and stage performances influenced his decision to pursue acting.
Me go school na kasano na yese bi the culture ntino o pa do wa me ya de o pekita me ya de na wo san so pese bi a like say plane ni ade na me ya de titan bi a ye culture na ma a chance for no o mu di first because of ewu me yi sre ba ko na me ye no sre me ka ewu Manok say kate akra ketwa ana tres Njada kana head ntina tres eja ye play na me ya ade kakra no ya ye kokko cha na ma me crop ni defense say me twesini so one e do ko oh enfa ne se bia nana me ankasa particular de ma wona me nwale it is on worry now. We said that ye won't say you can say ja. Or Bema was some boa bar. See, make me a boano. I'm an eye to me a crab. Make sure him. Let me speak, dear. Acquaintance.
Ghanaian actress Portia Sari has narrated the trauma she went through during the early stages of motherhood. In a video shared on social media, the actress revealed the challenges she faced, which forced her to sleep in hotels shortly after giving birth. The Kumawood actress, however, encouraged individuals to have faith in God despite their personal struggles.
There are times that I had to sleep with my children in hotels that I didn't even want anybody to know. I have to hide myself in places that nobody would notice. Imagine, say, mawa meba fufro like a baby out and I don't have a home. I have to sleep in hotels for 3 months. And guess what? Around this time, someone saw ba or what you were back at TB, maybe aya ujarun crowd. Imagine one hotel to the other. I was carrying all of these along with me. And my grandpa said, time is going to come that I will share this with people to encourage them that whatever it is that they're going through, they are not the only people that are going through. Some other persons are also going through it. But in the end, if you have God, there's going to be a day, there's going to be a time that you will smile at the storm and say that this far we have come by grace.
And our weather update will be coming your way. Stay tuned. Back now, weather update for today's afternoon. A mixture of clouds and sunshine will dominate over most portions of southern Ghana this afternoon. Rain-bearing clouds are expected to develop and produce localized tender showers over places within the coastal, middle, and transition sectors from late afternoon into the evening hours. Northern Ghana will generally experience sunny weather conditions amid slightly hazy conditions with isolated cases of thunderstorms or rain over some places within the Savannah region later in the day. Take note that relatively cool nights and early morning are expected over the upper regions. And this is where we end tonight's news bulletin on CSTV. But before we go, let's look at some headlines that make waves in our story for tonight. Health Minister Kwabena Mensah Akando announces 120% NHIS tariff hike for service providers starting from 2026. Religious intolerance in our schools could threaten our country's social cohesion. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa caution. In business news, government committed to building self-sustaining industry sector, says Vice President Jenana Opoku Ajima. And on the foreign front, more than 1,200 confirmed dead in Asia floods. And this is where we draw curtains for tonight's news bulletin on CSTV. CSTV News at 24 was brought to you by Cstv Brown, Rema Ocean Agency, Ansel Block Machinery and Block Manufacturing, KS Rafemix Company Limited, Sarah's Dream Jewelries, Jab Decorations, NAF Apartment Hotel, and Crystal Jorek Pet Shop. Happy birthday to the CEO of Havila Beauty Home, Ms. Vera Lai. My name is Dr. Simensa. Good evening once again.